Hi everyone, welcome back to Riftbound Ninja. This is Market Analysis Episode 2. So it's been a little bit more than 2 weeks since my last market analysis, and I kind of wanted to go back to what I spoke about when it came to the alternate arts, that it would be probably a good idea to kind of buy them while they were low, because in the long term, I really think that they're worth a lot more than what they're priced for the most part. Obviously, some of them are already quite pricey. I still think though that no matter what, the prices will keep going up in the future. But here's a good example. RE, not that long ago, really wasn't worth all that much. If we just go back, so 30-day, see, I was about on the 10th or so, I was saying that it probably would be a good idea to start buying them up, and look, again, it went all the way down to about, give or take $5. It's a little bit higher now. So that's actually pretty crazy. About 2 days later, it kind of dipped to what it seems to be its lowest so far. So I have a few copies of it already, so I didn't really need to have more, but I would probably 3 to 5 of each cards if I could, if the pricing makes sense. And I think they've already started going up. They'll probably be going up and down because, believe it or not, like it's very volatile. It's going to go up and down depending really on what cards need to be played in terms of the future sets. So Ari might be one of them, so it could keep going up. But I do think we're going to see more of a slow increase. So Ari was just one of them. The other alt art, the Ari Inquisitive, about the same idea in the last 30 days, kind of stabilized around 15. I think it's still a little bit pricey, but since the alt art is really good looking, maybe that's one of the reasons why it's that high still. But $15, I probably wouldn't buy any yet. I'd probably hold off on that a little bit. But anything between like $3 to $5 or $6, I think is really worth it. See Darius alternate art. I can't believe it's priced at $4. That just seems crazy to me, especially if Darius in the future sets comes back, and then it'll probably double or triple very quickly. Triferian, this is one of them. This is probably a good example. Oh, there's like some sort of gap here going on, but that one really dropped a lot from $23 just early January to about $16. So that's an example here. I mean, look at this, guys. Jennings Demolitionist, $6 on average, $5, $3 for the Kaisa Evolutionary. Probably a couple of copies of this is worth it. And it wasn't even its lowest. It actually went even lower than that, and now it's gone back up, and it's now seems to be a little bit more stable around $3. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities. I think in the alternate art market, I think it's going to be one of those cards that, especially for Origins, this is the first set ever, guys. So I really think that in the long run, you'll be a winner if you can kind of collect a couple of copies of each alt arts. At these prices, this is kind of ridiculous. A lot of them have been going up, a lot of them have been going down. I think the ones that are going down are most of the ones that are trying to stabilize. Like, look at this, Misfortune Buccaneer. It's a really like sick alt art, and it's $3.79. Really? That's crazy. It went all the way down to 332. I definitely don't have enough of this one, so I'd probably be checking the LGS stores to see if they're getting rid of any of them, because at these prices, even if it's $4 or $5, if they have some sort of premium on it, I think it's really worth it. If we keep going, see the set brawler went up like crazy, I think. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it was at $15. So when I did the video on the 10th, it was about 20. I probably wouldn't have bought at that time. $15, I would have probably hesitated, but I figured it would still be a good price. But look at this, it went all the way up, and it still seems to be going up. Around $27 was the highest it went just a couple days ago. So that's one good example. I do think a lot of the alt arts for a while will sell around probably $30 after they've gone up, like probably 5 to 10-fold in a lot of cases. So just there, if you look at it just in terms of pure investment, we're talking about 5 to 10x your initial investment on some of these cards. So obviously this is, risky. Of course, it's just not financial advice. It's, to me, I kind of look at it as an alternate investment that's often not correlated to any of the markets. So I kind of like to have a little collection of those. This is speaking strictly from a collector's point of view, not a player. So just so you understand that. I play, but not competitively. So to me, it's not that important to have like the meta deck in this case. So I'm more about collecting. Victor, I think it went up a lot. Yeah, it did, because I remember I spoke about it around the 10th and it was really low. And I think I specifically mentioned this card that I have a lot of. And by the way, this is part of the giveaway. So if you guys haven't seen that video yet, I opened 2 Spiritforged Slim Booster boxes, and I'm giving away one of these cards. So $4.50, and it's already worth about $8, so almost double already this card in less than 2 weeks. So that's one of the good examples. If we go to the other page, Volibear Furious, the altar got destroyed. I don't know what happened here. I guess it's just not that interesting anymore, but $8 all the way to 4. So I think that would be a good time to buy, in my opinion. If you guys wanted it, this is a good idea. Same thing with Volibear Imposing. This one at 350. That's just crazy. Look at that. It's dropped. Looks like that could be the lowest it goes. I don't think it's going to go any lower. Probably a lot of people are just not interested in selling the card at all at this point because it's just so low that it's like, okay, but I'm not going to sell it for $3. It just makes no sense to do that. So a lot of people will hold on to it. So we kind of figured out the floor for a lot of these altarts, and it always seems to be around 350 in a lot of cases. So that's kind of interesting. It's a new set, so it's very hard. There's not that much history behind Riftbound, so we kind of have to be careful and not go too crazy either, since there's only about what 6 months or so of history on this. So we don't know if it's going to be a card game that's going to last a long time, like Pokemon. So we do have to be a little bit careful. But since there's a huge player base for whether it's TFT or just a regular League of Legends, so I'm not too worried, at least for the next couple of years. After that, I guess we'll see if they, don't screw anything up and they continue to deliver and make the game fun. It should be quite good. So that's for the alternate arts. I just really wanted to talk about that because I kind of briefly mentioned it in the last video, and I wanted to go over again today just so you guys can see that I'm not, completely crazy. I think a lot of the cards dropped, and it all seems to be settling at a minimum of 350 each. And a lot of the altars have started going up already, but Spiritforged is not out yet, so I don't expect it to go too crazy. I think it'll take a little bit of time for that. But also, I wanted to talk about the Origins booster box that started getting Wave 2, Wave 3. A lot of people talking about Wave 2 or Wave 3, but I think we're a little bit further than that. Not sure. I guess it depends on the LGS if they got any, but I think Wave 2 and 3 is probably already gone. I think we're more around Wave 4 or 5 that's going to be upcoming soon, but I guess it depends who you talk to when it comes to that. But yeah, so we've seen at the height around 289 a booster box, and now it's gone down just a little bit. Not surprising that it's not going down a lot. It might go down a little bit once Spiritforged is out, and then once we move on to Unleashed, as they keep printing, because I believe they'll print for a full 2-year cycle since the release. I think it was October. So we might see it all the way until 2027. So I think the prices will continue to go down, but not that much, because don't forget, guys, this is really the first set they've ever produced. So it's kind of like if people associate the Pokemon base set to this, I think a lot of people will be hoarding these boxes and kind of collecting it, including myself. Not hoarding, but I would like to have a couple of them on a display, in my room, to just kind of keep those for the long run, hoping that maybe in the future it'll be worth maybe 3 to 5 times what I paid. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this case. But I do think that it might continue to drop just a little bit. It'll probably settle around $200, I think. I don't think it'll go any lower than that. So again, that's my opinion when it comes to the Origins booster box. I think I'm already starting to see in some LGS stores the Unleashed. Vendetta's not out yet, so we have no idea. But the pre-orders for Unleashed, some of them it's possible depending on the LGS. They don't really probably know their allocation for sure, but they probably have a good idea with Spiritforged. And the prices have already started going down, I've noticed. It's still too expensive in my opinion, but a lot of them will probably sell around $200. From what I've been able to secure some for about $200, which have been pretty much the minimum. So that's already good news. It's already much lower than Origins, unless you bought it or you pre-ordered it way back in April 2025 or May even. So yeah, so that's the booster box. And then one last thing I wanted to talk about, just so you guys see that I'm not crazy. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I'm not crazy either. Remember I mentioned the Kaisas, right? I talked about it. So here's the Kaisa Survivor. If we go back 30 days, what has happened to the price? I talked about it on my video on the 10th of January. It was about $87 and it's already at 77, or I guess 78. So almost a drop of $10 since I talked about it. So it has been going down. Again, I do think, depending on the popularity, I think it'll keep going down a little bit to get a little bit closer to the real altar pricing, I think in this case. This one, not even being an altar, is just, I think it's just way overpriced. I don't think it's worth anything near that. But then again, if it's a strong a strong deck and a lot of people still want to buy it and it's still the meta, then it might stay high. But I do think it's going to keep going down. Again, just my opinion. So I'm still selling them when I get them. Well, except this one. I'm still missing this one. But because the one that you guys probably have seen me get on the when I open a booster pack every single day, I got this one again. So it's already sold. I sold it quite quickly because I do think it's going to keep going down, and it did, and it's continuing to do so. So around the 10th, it was $111 and $82. This one had a way bigger drop, so about almost $30 drop in this case. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just kind of wanted to discuss that with you guys today. So alt arts, don't neglect them. If you see good pricing, you could probably buy a few. We're talking about $3 to $4 a card, guys, so it's not an insane risk here. But if they do 10x, in a couple of years, that's pretty good money. So not to neglect. I do think the alt arts have a lot of potential. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think it's a good idea to buy some alt arts and kind of keep them for the long term? Or do you think it's just not worth it in the end? You should kind of keep your money for instead to focus on buying more of the Spiritforged booster boxes. So I want to know your opinion. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and see you in the next one.